Hello, everyone. Matthew back with another episode of my favorite LJN tournament. So, in the last video, we lost some really great figures, predominantly Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, of course. And it was a video I was not excited about for the fact that a couple of my all time favorite figures were removed from competition. So, based on the luck of the draw, a lot more great figures are going to be removed from competition in this video, whereas some not so great figures are going to move forward. Now, I thought about possibly rearranging the matchups so those great figures that deserve to remain in competition can stay in, and those that aren't so great can, go back to the shelf and be display pieces like they're supposed to. Then I thought, others might look at it as kind of cheating, but I don't know. I just don't look at it as cheating per se. Think of it this way. If the Cubs win their division on September 17th, and then the Braves win their competition or their division on the 18th, do you necessarily see them facing off, together in the playoffs? The Cubs might have the best record in the division, and if that's the case, so the Cubs might end up facing the wild card team, and they may not win until what 30th of September. So again, we could look at it kind of that way. Not necessarily the best, facing the best, but the best facing the wild card essentially. I thought about possibly switching some things up, but we're just gonna have to eat it basically and keep them in order of appearance, and that means guys like Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. Two figures I actually thought could be the very last two men standing are going to be squaring off against each other in this round, simply because of how they won their last competition. So their first battle in round one was basically facing each other. Custom Bret Hart against original, custom Anvil against original, which a lot of times, it might be not necessarily an unfair matchup because, they're both great figures, and either one could have easily moved forward and, made it to rounds 4, 5, 6, etc. So there was no really an easy pick in this instance. SD Jones, you could have gone with red shirt or Hawaiian shirt. Not really much competition there, but I mean these two figures plus their original counterparts, it was a lot harder matchup than most matchups. And of course they move forward in round two, not having to face each other. But now, because of how the pecking order goes as far as winners, they're squaring off against each other. I did mention that Anvil is a much better figure, play wise. He does have that one arm toss over. He can't drop a big elbow on you. He can throw against the ropes, do a clothesline. He's got an adequate, not great body slam. This one may not work as well because the legs are not spread far apart. Now, if he was trying to body slam, Big John Studd, Hogan, Andre, this might have been a little bit better pose. Bret Hart, this is just a truly phenomenal piece. And again, the jacket may or may not have been his saving grace for a majority of this competition because I think it's just a fantastic accessory that really makes the figure itself pop. He doesn't have as great a pose as Jim Neidhart, and for playability wise, you could say that Neidhart is light years ahead of Hart. But even though playability is definitely one of the major factors into selecting picking which figure I like best, color scheme and the overall design is also as important. Now, they both have the white and pink on their boots, so that's pretty identical. Jim, he has the prototypical black shirt, as does the originals. He does have a few things, as bonus, kind of like the heart on his shirt, the anvil on his boots or on his pants. Bret Hart, pretty simple for the most part. A little heart on his shirt here. Nothing spectacular on the backside. He had an alteration between black and pink for both pant and shirts compared to how, it would have looked like in the original. Two great pieces. Absolutely love them both. They're, again, common in these videos. There are no wrong answers when it comes to, these type of figures. I thought the Big John Studd and Hulk Hogan matchup would have been the one that really got me the most. But coming against these two great pieces, there is just an impossible choice. Again, this is why I did not want to necessarily put these two guys up against each other. Now, if they ended up going all the way to the end of the competition, and you had to pick one or the other among the last two, obviously that's a different scenario. But only round 3, having to put them against each other, and something that's probably going to go 6 or 7 rounds. So these are both figures that should have gone all the way towards the end. I am not happy about losing one of them. Both beautiful, beautiful pieces. Love them both. We have to go with Bret Hart. I mean, yeah, the jacket might be the defining factor, but, it is Bret Hart after all. And there's not much more you could say about the character, and the overall design of this figure is truly amazing. I honestly believe that this was either, if not number 1, then possibly number 2, best custom I ever purchased, and I still feel that way. I still feel like this one is going to have the longevity to go multiple rounds past this 3rd round. I am severely disappointed Jimmy Hart is not going to move forward, but Bret Hart does move forward to round 4. So the next battle, another one of those battles that's really going to anger me. LJN Original Kamala takes on Custom Hercules. Now, Hercules is actually one of those figures that I mentioned alongside Bret Hart, where, this could be number 1, number 2, number 3, as far as all the customs that I bought. This is such a great piece. A perfect representation of the wrestler. And this is the Hercules that, most people think of when they think of Hercules. Not so much that, Roman Gladiator that you get from the original LJN line. Fantastic piece. Great sculpt. Just so many positives from this figure. The only drawback is the resin that it's made from. Now, the Kamala is an original LJN rubber figure. Has one of the best colors. Definitely one of the best fighting poses of any LJN figure. Again, he does come at you with the kind of like that little uppercut underneath the chin into the throat. You throw a punch, throw against the ropes, either clothesline from either side. He's got an incredible body slam pose, absolutely remarkable. Makes him, again, one of the best LJN figures. I think he eventually replaced Nikolai Volkov or Junkyard Dog at number 4 or 5. So as of right now, I'd probably put Stud, Andre Hogan, possibly Kamala at number 4 for the top, as far as fighting poses go. Maybe Greg Valentine, number 5, possibly. Absolutely love both these figures. I don't want to see Kamala leave, but is Hercules really that great of a piece that he gets to move forward? I say absolutely yes, he is. Again, as far as the customs, maybe Bruiser Brody, Hercules, the Bret Hart figure. You put them in any order you want. I think those are possibly the best three in my opinion. Just thinking about them off the top of my head. Love this piece. Crazy about this one. It's a statue, something for display only. You're not going to use this. Kalila is going to defeat Hercules. I know it's kind of a surprise as much as I doted on the Hercules figure. But this one, weight is incredible on this. The size, the body type, the positioning of the hands and arms. This is just an absolute perfect LJN figure. And I see this one going very far in competition. Kalila does defeat Hercules, and he is moving on to round 4. The next battle is one that kind of bothered me. The reason I say that is because it's Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Jimmy Hart. Now, we could have had, let's say, Bret Hart versus Bam Bam, or, let's say Jim Anvil versus Jimmy Hart, for example. Are either of these figures worthy to move forward, whereas someone like Hercules or Jim Neidhart aren't? So, like I said, it's all about luck of the draw, who won, in line order, and because Jimmy Hart followed by Bam Bam were next in line, one of these figures are going to move forward to round 4. Now, Bam Bam in itself, huge fan of this character, and a very simple figure. He's pure black with some fire down the front. The fire tattoos on his head. Pose is not great. Again, display wise, incredible piece. Love it. Not something that you'd really use much as a kid. Play wise isn't all that great. Yeah, you could probably throw a few punches at you, maybe a DT or something, but really can't do too much with this. The figure is pretty limited. I think if I did have a duplicate, I probably would use this in Royal Rumble competition. Just kind of use them the same way I would use King Kong Bundy, for example. This is a really good figure. I love the facial expression of Bigelow as well. Now, manager Jimmy Hart, you line him up with the Hart Foundation, Jim and Bret, and put him on a left or 3D Left 4 Creations. I know I butchered that name. David Garland on Etsy. You buy one of his stands. This figure looks absolutely fantastic. And again, this is a variant without the hearts on the microphone. As far as managers go, this is probably up there with Mean Gene Okerlund as far as being the top manager. And of course, Okerlund isn't a manager; he's a interviewer for the most part. But they have him listed as manager, so he's right there with Okerlund as far as being probably the top managerial figure. Beautiful piece, but let's be honest, Jimmy Hart is not topping Bam Bam Bigelow, so Bam Bam does move forward. As great as Bam Bam is figure-wise, I don't think he's a better figure than the other two that just got eliminated from competition. That's why I was kind of, I don't want to say frustrated, anxious definitely about doing this video. I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit so the best figures did face those I didn't feel like deserved to go forward as much, but I just rather keep it in line. Eventually I am going to have to choose my number 1 figure, and it doesn't matter if you put your top 10 figures all the way towards the end, or if you want to just delete them or remove them from competition right off the bat, because the best figure is going to win regardless. The next battle, let's see what I had here, was the $1 Million Man taking on One Man Gang. Nope. Let me see if I got that wrong. Nope, I take it back. It's Rick Martel taking on the $1 Million Man. So, again, these are both figures I purchased from Wrestling Writer. Awesome custom job on either figure. Playability-wise, hands down, Rick Martel, easily much better figure. He defeated Tito Santana custom in the last round because of his playability and fighting pose. You see, so again, not the best body slam pose, but definitely better than most. Now this is supposed to be the model Rick Martel, even though he is probably sporting pre-WWF gear, AWA championship belt. Yeah, I'm familiar with Rick Martel in all pink, but this is a sensational figure. The original figure did not have the glasses, so I think that was a nice little addition to this custom figure. Now with $1 Million Man, again, as you recall from the first round, there were 4 different $1 Million Mans that I own. This white suited $1 Million Man did come out victorious, and I think there were several reasons why. Yeah, the multiple championships helped. The beautiful championship belt, $1 Million belt, is one. I think the white suit jumped out a whole lot. The gold on both the front of the suit as well as the dollar sign on the back. Similar to how they painted, Jim Neidhart, kind of same facial coloring. I don't want to say cartoony. I don't think it's necessarily cartoony, but that is a beautiful representation for the most part. And just a fantastic overall color scheme of this figure. The dollars in his hand, obviously, much more bright. Really beautiful figure overall. Now, is the color scheme enough to defeat Rick Martel, the figure with a much better pose and better playability? This time around, I am going to say yes. $1 Million Man moves to round 4, and Rick Martel is out after 3 rounds. So the last matchup is going to consist of 2 very special customs for me. One, again, comes from Wrestling Rider, whereas the other, I didn't bring up the guitar this time around, but this one comes from the Raider Nation, and this is actually the last Raider Nation figure still in competition. Both absolutely remarkable pieces. I'm not one of those guys who cares so much about whether or not they're in clothes or if they're in fighting gear. This is a great piece overall. So, great vest. Love the look of the one-man gang. I mean, the vest, again, as a custom, just a little bit darker than the original. Great overall figure. Love the belt attachment. He is going against Honky Tonk Man, which, as much as I love the blue suit LJN original, this suit really pops with the gold and black, and just a great overall figure. So, just kind of looking at it right off the bat, he does have a better pose. Play-wise, neither figure is going to be used for play. They're going to be display only. And I think this one, with guitar in hand, really makes it a perfect display piece. And 2 phenomenal figures, but again, this ain't something that's going to be something that's going to be focused on for a long periods of time. With this, the Honky Tonk Man custom is moving on to round 4, and he absolutely deserves it. This is a great piece. Well, that concludes the second video of this round 3 of the tournament. I'd like to thank you all for watching once again, and I will get these uploaded today, and I will be back soon with the next line of matchups. Thanks, everybody.